All right, guys, I've got another boatload of awesome discounted fragrances that I'm going to talk to you about today. This is a longer than normal video as I found some great discounts. A lot of the fragrances I speak about, some of them I don't, or I have spoken about, but I haven't lately. But as I find these discounted fragrances, highly discounted scents, I write them down in a note and then I make sure to check to see that the fragrances are still selling at the discount. And so you guys can take advantage of the fragrances. Some of these are more than 50% off, so there's some really great deals. Also, these run out, so I can't guarantee 100% that they're going to be selling. But if they are still selling, take advantage of these deals before they run out. Everything is timestamp tagged. You can click through the info box with all the different fragrances, and it goes right directly to the fragrance itself. And then the products are tagged there through YouTube shopping as well. So great deals here. Take advantage of them before they run out. And let's get started with the list. The first fragrance I'm going to talk to you about is J.U.S SPRINGPOP. It's a very springy fragrance, but I feel like it's kind of floral, powdery, and green. And it's not one that I speak about from this house, but I feel like it's definitely worth it. There's a coziness about it. It's fresh, but dry and powdery, green, and floral. I think it uses Hedione as a note. Hedione was a note in I think the first time it was used in was Eau Sauvage. And it's just like a jasmine note. But this is kind of not necessarily like, it doesn't smell like a realistic jasmine. To me, it's very dry, kind of almost woody as well, but definitely green and spring-like. So it's a great deal here, $120 for 100 ml. Normally it's about $230 for 100 ml. So it's highly discounted. And I think it's also a appropriate fragrance to wear in the springtime. It's not super fresh because there is some substance there, but I feel like it's very springy with the fact that it goes green, a bit floral, but also powdery and dry and musky as well. So that's SPRINGPOP from J.U.S. Let me know if you're familiar with that fragrance. Next, going to the house of MEMO PARIS. It's Tiger's Nest. And this one, I was actually looking up the normal price. I couldn't find it on the MEMO PARIS website. So is it discontinued? I did a little research. It's appearing at various websites, but I think it's on its way out. When this first came out, I felt like it was a really great kind of a warm ambery take on incense, which is exactly what it is. I find it to be very comforting, whereas also you've got the idea of the church in there because it's quite smoky, incensey. This is currently selling for $159 in a 75 ml bottle. This is a 75 ml bottle. And again, I don't know if this is 100% discontinued, but the fact that it's not on the MEMO PARIS USA website, I feel like it's on its way out. And again, it's a really awesome one as far as incense goes, because it has those ambery, resinous, kind of warmer notes. I feel like it's very comforting, even though you have an overdose of incense and, smoky notes that typically, are associated with like an incense fragrance. So it's Tiger's Nest from MEMO PARIS, $159 for 75 ml. It's a great price. If it's discontinued, that's disappointing that it is, because it's one of the best from MEMO PARIS, but I feel like their African leather is probably the biggest seller of that brand. But let's move on to Tom Ford. It's Bois Pacifique. This is normally $240 for 100 ml. You can get it for $140 for 100 ml in the tester format. So that's $100 off. Not necessarily 50% off, but it's definitely highly discounted, almost 50% off. To me, this is not one of the best releases from the house. Comes off kind of boring to me. But if you like super duper woody fragrances, you might dig this one. I feel like there's a lot of woods here. There is a slight smokiness. I feel like maybe there might be something slightly incensey running throughout the fragrance. But to me, it's dry woods and spices. Maybe a little bit of freshness from citruses and some aromatics as well. But I feel like it's heavy on the woods and spices. So because of that, it kind of creates a little bit of a boringness. It's not super exciting to me, but I'm highlighting it for you guys because I know some of you like this one and you might want to find a deal on it. Bois Pacifique, are you a fan? I feel like it definitely fits the Tom Ford DNA. it fits the catalog. But again, for me, I find it a bit boring. But if you don't want too much excitement, I think the fragrance works on its own. So it's $140 and the tester format in the 100 ml bottle. So a great deal rather than buying full retail at $240. The $140 is a great price. Let's move on to Maison Crivelli next. It's not my favorite fragrance from the house, but this is probably the biggest seller of the house. Hibiscus Mahajad. This is the 50 ml. And this normally, well, what I found online is the 100 ml, which normally sells for $560. This is extrait de parfum. The 100 ml in the discounter is $427. So this is a Quentin Biche creation. It was the very first, I think, collaboration of Maison Crivelli with Quentin Biche. And they've done quite a few extracts together. I think the brand's focusing on extracts now. They just launched the musk, and I also just heard about a tobacco. I don't care for this one as much. I feel like this is a similar DNA to what Quentin Biche did with Delina. But to me, this one goes medicinal. But I know it's loved by a lot of people. People seem to really love this one. I just can't get behind it. But I'm highlighting in here for you guys because 100 ml normally is $560. Currently, it's $427. So it's a good price, I think, because these fragrances from this house rarely go at the discounters. So if you're looking for a deal, now's the chance to pick up a bottle. It is 100 ml. It's not the 50 ml like this. But again, it's discounted about $130. Is that how much it is? About $130 off of the suggested retail price. So that's Maison Crivelli's Hibiscus Mahajad. Normally $560 for 100 ml. Now it is $427. So these will run out. Get yourself a bottle. And remember, I have timestamp tagged everything. So timestamp chapters. So when I'm talking about a fragrance, the product should appear where you can buy the product through YouTube shopping, which is what I've been doing here on the channel lately. So let's move on to the House of Nishane. First, we're going to talk about, let's see where it is. We're talking about the fragrances from the Time Capsule collection, and they're highly discounted. The first two are a bit more than the last one I'm going to talk to you about, but we've got Kredo at $130. And I think these first three fragrances, I'm only talking about the first three in this Time Capsule collection. They were launched with IFF perfumers, and I think the fourth one was Alberto Moria's from Firmenich. Kredo is Carlos Benayem. It's kind of a sweet, wait, no, Kredo, yeah, I think Kredo is Carlos Benayem. I'm drawing a blank with the who did what. There might have been actually 4 from the Time Capsule collection at first, and then they launched the 5th one. I could be wrong. So Kredo, to me, I think it's Jean-Louis Suizac. It kind of reminds me a little bit of oud wood. It's a spicy, woody fragrance. Normally, these sell for $280. It's $130 for this one. If you like a more potent take on oud wood, but having that kind of light and ethereal effect that oud wood has in the eau de parfum concentration from Tom Ford, I think you will really be happy with it. It's definitely on the masculine leaning side. It's very, woody, spicy, and I think oudy, but I think it's definitely not a Middle Eastern oud. It's a westernized take on oud. But I find it to be really sexy. And if you like that oud wood DNA, you'd really enjoy Kredo. So check that out for $130. Normally it's $280. Then we've got Tempfluo. Tempfluo is my favorite of the bunch. It's an Anne Filippo creation. This one actually garners me compliments. It's super sexy. Kind of reminds me of the fragrance she created for, what's the brand? Rain de Saba, called Rain Maqueda. It kind of reminds me of it, but it's different. It's also white flowers. It's kind of musky, and it's got a great trail. So if you like a trail, a sillage, and then compliments coming in, I think Tempfluo is really, really awesome. I find it to be super sexy. But you have to be into white flowers because there's white flowers here. But once again, it's 50 ml for $130. Normally, it's $280 for the 50 ml. And I forgot to mention, these also come in 100 ml for $395. But the $130 is a great price. And this last one I'm talking about here is Papilefiko. I thought this was pretty mass market smelling, but I've kind of gotten really into it. It's grown on me quite a bit. This is the one that's created by Dominique Ropion. So yeah, I think there is a fourth one, which is not here. It's the one with caramel and salt, and I think that's the one that's created by Carlos Benayem. But this one has really, really grown on me, and I find it to be super sexy in a very mass market way. It's spicy, it's woody. I think there's some muskiness in here, but once again, just like a lot of Nishane fragrances, they have great substance and intensity, so they create a nice sillage. It smells great. I think it might be a bit more of a familiar smell rather than super niche, and I think that's why I kind of categorized it a little bit more like a mass market offering. But to me, it's grown on me quite a bit. I really, really love the smell of it now. So that's Papilefiko. $94 for the 50 ml. So that's actually really, really great. That one actually, take advantage of it. I don't think it'll be around for that price too long. But again, the 50 ml normally is $280 and the 100 ml is $395 for that one. So that's a great price. Let's move on to one fragrance I forgot to pull. So let's pause. All right, we're going to the house of Obvious. This is Un Musc. So there was a time this was highly, highly discounted. It's back at the discounter, but not as good as what it used to be. But still, I think it's a great price because normally it sells for $170, but it is $81 for 100 ml. If you like a nice skin-scenty musk fragrance, you've got to get your nose on this one. I really love it. It's a cocktail of various different musks, synthetic musks, but it's super cozy, very comforting. It's a good fragrance to kind of layer with other fragrances as well. It could be the base of the fragrance because it's not super loud. But when somebody gets close to you, it smells really, really great, especially when mixed with your own, chemistry and your own, like body. It creates a bit of a sillage, but I wouldn't say this is super loud. It's a very personal fragrance. But I find it to be very, very sexy. And if you're not the type that wears super strong fragrances, but you want a little something, you've got to try Un Musc. I really, really recommend it. Not only as a personal fragrance that you can wear and not project off of you too much. And somebody has to get really close to you to smell you and how sexy it smells. If you like those kind of fragrances, I highly recommend it. And also the fact that it's great for layering. Like you can use that to layer some fragrances that you want to boost up and make them last a little longer, because you can use that as kind of like a primer, I should say. So that's Obvious. It's Un Musc, 100 ml for $81. Normally, suggested retail price is $170. So let's go to two fragrances from the house of HERMES. We've got Hermes's Eau de Mandarin Ambre. So this is this fragrance. And I looked online on the Hermes website for both of these fragrances. I've got two here. The version of this I found is in a 200 ml bottle. It's $77, highly discounted. And I can't remember if it was a tester or an original, presentation. But the 100 ml, which is the only one I found on Hermes's website, is $151. So this is part of the cologne series of fragrances. The colognes, they've got, many different fragrances in different directions. They're eau de cologne, but this is an amber, so there's a warmth. It's also mandarin. You've got that signature mandarin smell here in an ambery direction. It's warm, it's citrusy, it's a bit juicy, it's a bit tart, and you've got the warmth and the resinous ambery touches of the amber. So it's kind of simplistic, but I feel like out of all of the fragrances in this collection, this one has a bit of depth because of the amber, but I don't think it would overwhelm, and it's nicely done. So 200 ml for $77. Normally the 100 ml is $151. So 100 ml, $151, double the juice, half the price. Great deal, I think. So that's Eau de Mandarin Ambre. Let me know if you're familiar with that one. I like that one quite a bit. But again, it's eau de cologne. It's not going to be the longest lasting, but you do have 200 ml bottle of juice, so you can replenish over and over again. So let's move on to another fragrance, Hermes's Amazon. Look at the back on this one. So this one, I'm not too familiar with it. I'm highlighting it here because it is a great deal. There's a 100 ml tester for 54 bucks. And normally on the Hermes website, this is $202. So that's kind of like 75% off almost. It's old school, for sure. What are the notes here? It's a bit spicy. A little bit leathery, I think. There's woods here. But it reminds me of some older vintagey kind of fragrances. I know the fragrance has been around for a long, long time. But who's familiar with Amazon? I like it. I like the way it smells. My bottle is probably from 5 years ago. It's a tester I bought online. And the one that's online is a tester as well. So 54 bucks for this. Like if you walked into the Hermes store here, you're going to pay $202 plus tax. So you'll pay $54 plus tax on this one. But I do enjoy it. It takes me back. It takes me back to the 80s for some reason. Is that when this came out? I'm going to pause the video. So I think originally it launched in the 70s, but I think 70s leading into the 80s because it reminds me of a little bit of probably late 70s, early 80s smell. I think this came out in 75 or 74. There's warmth here, but also there's greenness, but the price is so good. If you like classic vintage fragrances, definitely try Amazon. 54 bucks for 100 ml in the tester format. That is a steal because normally $202 for 100 ml suggested retail. So this might be a bit of a good deal. This is YSL's Babycat, but the new label is the one that's discounted. It's the raw bourbon. I've recommended this one quite a bit. Right now at the discounter, this is $295. And normally it's 300 something. So probably around 330 or 320. So it's not highly discounted, but Macy's is also having a deal on this. At Macy's, it's $280.50. And it's interesting how, YSL's Le Vestiaire collection is now at Macy's. But if you don't know Babycat, it's vanilla with smoky incense and peppery spices and a bit of leather in the dry down. It's quite dry, by the way. But I love the DNA. It's a great DNA created by Dominique Ropion. Yes, it reminds me of number 5 from Rosendo Matu. They're similar. I don't think they're identical, but maybe Dominique was inspired by number 5. I'm not 100% sure. But it's a great fragrance. It never goes on sale or hardly does or hardly ends up at the discounters. But it is at Macy's for $280.50 for this 125 ml bottle. And at the discounter, it's $295. But I was right. It's $330 suggested retail. I went and checked to make sure. But again, at the discounters, it's $295 for the 125 ml. But Macy's is having a sale, $280.50 for the 125 ml on Babycat. So let's move on to Eccentric Molecules. It's Molecule 1 plus GUAIAC wood. This one grew on me a lot, and I was actually layering this one with Ingredients by Maison Crivelli, which later became Secret Saffron Secret. The two together work great. You can wear this on its own minimalistically, and it's basically GUAIAC wood with the signature ISOE Super. So you've got the smell of the ISOE Super, plus you've got GUAIAC here. So it's a woody combo, but the GUAIAC adds a slight creaminess and also a bit of smokiness to the mix. So it's simplistic on its own. You can wear it on its own minimalistically or use it to layer fragrances. Like perhaps you can use the Eau de Mandarin Ambre to layer with the Molecule 1 plus GUAIAC because they're both super thin fragrances, and I think layering the two fragrances together would be great. You can also maybe perhaps layer the GUAIAC. It's the Molecule 1 plus GUAIAC with the Un Musc, because once again, they're also kind of complementing. You add a layer of muskiness to the woodiness and the smokiness. So it's perfect to layer. And the price on that is 100 ml for $110 as a tester. And these fragrances are normally $185. So it's not 50% off, but it's still a pretty good discount. And also, as I said, I love these for layering, and you can do layering with a lot of different layering situations. You might even be doing layering with the Tiger's Nest because it is smoky, and I find smokiness here with the Molecule 1 plus GUAIAC wood. But again, wear it on its own simplistically, minimalistically, or use them to layer with. But a great price. I love the Eccentric Molecules fragrances. They're some of my favorite fragrances of all time. Even though I prefer more denser, stronger, beefier fragrances, I kind of sometimes crave the minimalistic fragrances. Really love the musks and also the simplistic Eccentric Molecule fragrances. So let's move on to the house of Floris. I've got 3 fragrances here that I'm going to talk to you about. And the first one is a super duper deal. Get it right away. It's a great price. It's also a classic style fragrance. It's Floris's number 89. One thing I should recommend, or not recommend, suggest, these fragrances have been rebranded. So the brand Floris has rebranded the labeling. So you will find them fairly different looking. But I think the version you will get is probably this, or maybe you'll get the newer version. But normally this sells for $165. So this is $35. It's a great, great deal, especially if you like old school style fougere fragrances. I believe number 89 came out, I think in the 50s. So it's been around for a long, long time. But I mean, it's almost 100 years old is what I'm trying to say, because, well, like 75, 80 years old. But it's a great smell. It's aromatic, it's spicy, it's woody. There's a little bit of warmth there and a lot of citruses up top. So if you like those kind of classic masculine, old school barbershop-y style fragrances, this $35 deal is a great deal. Great deal on this one. I think it's a steal because normally it's $165 in the suggested retail price. So if you're in the market, get it. Again, this price will not last too long. So that's Floris's number 89. One of my favorite classic men's fragrances. Get it before it's gone for that price. And then I've got 2 other fragrances I'm going to talk to you about. These are also rebranded, so there's new labeling. I'm not sure which version you will get, but the first one is Honey Oud. Honey Oud in a tester format. These are all testers, by the way, that I'm talking about. The number 89 is also a tester, and the Honey Oud is also a tester for $85. But this is normally $270 for this Honey Oud. And it's your traditional kind of westernized oud with rose, but this also has lots of spices and of course the addition of honey. And I like that kind of gooey stickiness against the oud. It adds a layer of depth that I kind of enjoy more if I'm going to do oud and rose together, because it's a typical combo, and the honey adds that kind of sticky, gooey, ambery layer that I quite like. So that is Honey Oud. Normally it's $270, and now it's 100 ml for $85. It's been one of my favorite fragrances, but it's been around for a while too. I think it launched around 2013, somewhere around there. I believe it's been around, and I love that one quite a bit. And the third one from Floris is Bergamotto di Positano, and this is 100 ml, $80 as a tester. And once again, it's $270 suggested retail price for this. And this one is a gourmand with marine notes, and it works really well because normally it doesn't. Like there was a fragrance from Bond number 9 that I couldn't stand called Coney Island. This is unlike that. It's salty, a bit of a sea breeze effect. There's tea in the notes, lots of bergamot, because obviously Earl Grey tea has bergamot in the tea. And there is a little bit of like a cookie kind of doughy experience here as well. So just imagine you're in Positano at a hotel balcony having your morning tea or coffee or whatever. This is tea in the notes though. And you're sitting on the balcony, you can smell the fresh air, the sea breeze hitting your nose, but you're also sipping on that tea and, you know, munching on some sweet snacks or something. That's the experience I get with Floris's Bergamotto di Positano. It's a great one. So that is 100 ml, $80 tester. Normally 100 ml for $270. Let's move on to Vilhelm Parfumerie. It's Mango Skin. Who's a fan of Mango Skin? Honestly, guys, I'm not the biggest fan of mango. This has grown on me. There is a slight smell in here that kind of turns me off a little bit, but I've gotten used to it. I think it's the smell of the skin. But this is selling for 100 ml for $165. Normally it's 100 ml for $295. So that's a pretty good discount on that, about $130 off. It's sweet, it's green, it's juicy, it's tart. This is smelling better than it normally does. When I first smelled it, there was a smell in there that kind of turned me off a little bit, but it's grown on me quite a bit. I like it. And fruity fragrances are not normally my favorite style of fragrances. They're very good in the summertime, I think. And I think this is a great summer fragrance. Mango Skin from Vilhelm Parfumerie. So that is 100 ml for $165. And normally it's 100 ml for $295, as I said. So great deal on that one. Let's move on to Thomas Kosmala's Arabian Passion. So I have a deep dive video on Thomas Kosmala fragrances. If you haven't caught that video, please go catch it. This one I'm not too familiar with, but I did find a great price on it and I wanted to highlight it for you guys. 100 ml for $100. Normally 100 ml for $250. So this is $150 off. Great deal. It's your typical oud rose combo experience, but with the Thomas Kosmala DNA. So I think they use a lot of those amber woods and I'm picking up quite a bit of it here. It definitely adds depth and intensity and density to the fragrance. And you have that, but up top, you've got a lot of oud. It's an oud accord. It's not animalic. Rose, there might even be a little bit of patchouli. I find it to be nice, but I myself am a bit bored of oud rose combo fragrances. I do enjoy some of their other fragrances, but if you're in the market for an oud rose with the depth of the amber woods, you should definitely try Arabian Passion from Thomas Kosmala. That's a great savings, by the way. So it's more than 50% off, $100 for that. And normally it's $250. Let's talk about two fragrances from MIZENSIR next. Blue Gin. This is going to be perfect for the upcoming summer season. It's crisp, it's clean, it's a bit metallic, it's ice cold. It's the idea of a gin, and it's a very cooling experience. There's a sharp metallic quality about it. Yeah. Perfect for the hot. Like your body is all hot and sweaty and you spritz that on. The effect of cold iciness hits it, cools you off. You kind of twitch a little bit because it's acting like ice. But it's all aromatics. There's a lot of juniper-like notes here and spices and citruses. So it's giving you that kind of crisp, clean, icy, blue experience. So there's the fragrance from, I'm trying to see the name, Gentle Fluidity Tea Silver from, I don't know why I always forget the name of that fragrance, from MFK. But this kind of reminds me of MFK's Gentle Fluidity Silver, although I do prefer Gentle Fluidity Silver over Blue Gin. But if you want that effect, I think this should satisfy. 100 ml tester for $100. Normally 100 ml is $285. So that is so highly discounted. Get yourself a bottle right away. And then we've got this one. From the same house, it's Ambre Magique, Amber, Magic Amber. This is an amber that has ambergris, and it has rose, giving you the idea of maybe Ambre Nuit a little bit. Not quite. And Alberto uses a lot of molecular notes in this one as well, with the addition of resinous amber too. It's not one of my all-time favorites from the house. For me, For Your Love, lately Legend Leather. I'm obsessed with Legend Leather. But I think this one has a nice following. The rose with the ambery effect is quite solid. It doesn't come off super warm to me. There's a dryness about it is what I'm trying to say. But this one right now is $120 for 100 ml. Once again, as a tester, in the tester format. And it's normally $285. Same price as the Blue Gin. But the Blue Gin is like a fresh fragrance, And the Ambre Magique is, I think it has a lot more depth. It's a bit more, it has a bit more substance. So the next fragrance is another discontinued fragrance from, this time from Penhaligon's. This is EAU Sans Pareil. I think that's how you say it. It's funny, this is one of the first Penhaligons I wore in the late 90s. And I really loved it back then. I think this version might be a little bit of different, but I quite enjoyed this as one of my very first fragrances from the house. But this is discontinued. I don't think it's on, well, it's not on the Penhaligon's website. And there seems to be quite a bit of stock out there. If you're a fan of this one, get yourself a bottle before it runs out. It's 100 ml, $75. I don't have a suggested retail price. But I think since it's an eau de toilette, it might be somewhere around $200 for their eau de toilettes. It's very old school, I think. You might not be into old school fragrances, but if you're a collector like me, I have mine in the box stored away. I had to pull it out for this video. But it's nice to have it since I wore it in the late 90s onto 2000. And I bought it from the Saks Fifth Avenue here. That used to be here. The men's store, actually. But yeah, EAU Sans Pareil. I don't even know if that's how you pronounce it. But it's a classic Penhaligon's. Let me know if you've tried that one. Add a comment below. Let's move on. We've got two more fragrances. The next one is Cuir Nilam from the House of Atelier Materi. It's a pretty solid leather fragrance, by the way. It does remind of the idea of Tuscan leather, but I feel like this one has a bit more substance. It's super spicy, very dense. There's a freshness about it. There's not too much warmth. There's a rawness about it as well. Slight leathery animalic touches, but really nicely done leather. The brand uses a perfumer by the name of Céline Perdriel. I think she's a great perfumer. She doesn't work for one of the big houses. She works for a house called Cosmo, and she does great work. This is a really solid. Like if you're into the DNA of Tuscan leather, ombre leather, Godolphin, and leather fragrances like that, I think this will satisfy. That is Cuir Nilam from Atelier Materi. So suggested retail price is $280, $145 for 100 ml. Last but not least, it's Serge Lutens Pointe de Jour. So this I brought back from France about a year ago. And I kind of should have bought it online because it's so highly discounted. So it's normally $221. Now it's $75 for a tester. Great price. So to me, this is chock full of aromatics. It's almost like lavender, but there's another herb in here that kind of reminds me a little bit of herbs de Provence. So it takes me into that kind of a direction. It's almost like savory or winter savory or thyme. Something like that is mixed in with the lavender, or maybe it's giving me that kind of an effect. But if you like aromatics, definitely try this one. It's quite fresh and green aromatic, but floral as well. Like the lavender is very prominent, and the thyme or savory note is also pretty, kind of almost leaning towards oregano, I think. But super fresh and a great price on this one as well. This is $75 for a tester. Normally it's 100 ml for $221. And I checked that on the USA Serge Lutens website. And one time I reported in a video like this, I found some additional or other Serge Lutens fragrances. And I think I went to the Serge Lutens website. There was no fragrances listed. So I didn't know what was going on. But later I received an email from Serge Lutens USA website because I subscribed to it. And they mentioned that the fragrances are now all back online. So they must have been doing something on the website. And I mentioned that there's no fragrances on there. So I didn't mean to lie about it. It's just I didn't find fragrances, and they apparently were doing something. But either way, Pointe de Jour, 100 ml, $75, normally $221. A great price on that. A great price on all these fragrances. Let me know if you're a fan of any of these. Have you found a great deal on any fragrances? Let me know put a comment down below. And thank you so much for watching today's video, guys. If you have any questions or comments, list below. I do also want to say I'm back from Europe, and we're going to announce some amazing exhibitors at our show, Scentfest SF, and great company that I was able to agree to come and be present at our show. And they're known for preserving fragrances, historic fragrances. So you're going to be able to smell the formulas of classic fragrances that are either discontinued or, lost fragrances among fragrances that are still in existence today, but the older formulas. So we've got a really great setup for them, and I'll announce all of this very soon. But there's going to be amazing brands exhibiting at Scentfest SF, and you're not going to want to miss out on it. If you haven't gotten your tickets yet, get them. We're turning off the early bird pricing very soon for attendees and also for exhibitors. And it's going to be a great show. We've got probably around 45 to 50 brands that are going to be at the show, and the list is growing and growing and growing. So it's going to be the first of its kind show on the West Coast around the same time as the WPC World Perfumery Congress and the Business of Beauty Global Forum. We've got a huge brand that's going to be also present that all will be announced soon. So get your tickets, plan your travel. It's going to be a busy time in Northern California. Anyway, thanks so much for watching today. Like this video, share it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, click the bell icon, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.